Fiat offers buyers in the small SUV segment an improved version of its characterful 500X crossover model. It's bigger than it looks, and there's now a sophisticated range of more efficient 3- and 4-cylinder petrol turbo engines on offer, plus improved connectivity and a whole stack of personalisation options. If you're searching for a car of this kind and looking for a surefire conversation starter, you can't do a lot better.
This 500X model offers a far more relevant engineering package to the sector for small SUVs in this revised form, principally because it at last gets some up-to-date petrol power plants beneath the bonnet. Diesel's now been dispensed with, fitting with the segment's current preference for green pump fuel. Most will choose the unit we're trying here, a 120 horsepower 1-litre Firefly series 3-cylinder turbo engine, which develops a spirited 120 horsepower and is mated only to a 6-speed manual gearbox. The NED-C2 rated efficiency stats here are quite promising, up to 48.7 mpg on the combined cycle and up to 133 grams per kilometre of CO2. These being significantly better than those of the entry-level 110 horsepower 1.6 litre e-torque version. A normally aspirated 110 horsepower variant we'd encourage you to try and avoid. If you want a little more power than this base 1-litre derivative can provide, the alternative is another little Firefly series turbo power plant, this one with 4 cylinders and 150 horsepower. Unfortunately though, it has to be had with automatic transmission, a 6-speed DCT dual clutch unit, which rather dulls what would otherwise be quite reasonable levels of performance. Whatever engine you choose, you'll find that not much has changed about the way this 500X goes down the road. The ride's still slightly on the firm side, but that means well-managed standards of body roll through the bends, which in turn ought to give you the confidence to explore the decent reserves of traction and agility on offer. Inevitably, anything other than very light off-road antics are beyond this 500X model's remit, despite its adventurous styling. 4-wheel drive is no longer offered as an option, and there's just 162mm of ground clearance. But none of this, of course, will bother likely buyers. For them, it'll matter only that this is a faithful interpretation of 500 model line values to a larger family class car. There aren't too many small SUVs with styling that gets an almost universal vote of confidence, but we really haven't chanced upon anyone who doesn't like the 500X. This revised model gets a closer family resemblance with the brand's little 500 city car, thanks to these uniquely illuminated mid-level daytime running lights. Plus, there's now a restyled bumper and the option of full LED headlights. In profile, you realise the cleverness of a shape that's a good deal bigger than it looks. The curvy styling disguising dimensions that make this 500X one of the larger small SUVs you can buy. Seat yourself at the wheel and some semblance of brand familiarity is maintained by a smattering of 500 model line design cues. You sit a little lower than is the crossover norm, but potential buyers will like the way that it's possible to create a very personal and even quite exclusive feel with a careful choice from the huge range of fabric, leather and trim panel colour configurations possible. This improved model gets a restyled steering wheel and a revised instrument cluster, but the key change lies with the installation of a slightly larger 7-inch Uconnect Centre Dash infotainment screen, which now includes Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone mirroring, as well as a whole range of other media functions. A wide range of features and apps can be added in if you download the available Uconnect Live app. Time to take a seat in the rear. Once inside, there's certainly considerably more space than would be available to you in, say, a rival Nissan Juke, though sombre cabin colours like those that feature here rather disguise the fact. Overall, the amount of room you get back here is pitched somewhere between the space you'd get in a Fiesta-sized Super Mini and a Focus-sized family hatch, which means it's fine by segment standards, though taller folk will find their hair brushing the ceiling. Raise the tailgate and you discover a 350-litre boot capacity. Push forward the fold and tumble 60/40 split folding rear bench and 1,000 litres of fresh air will be freed up, thanks to seat backs that fold almost completely flat. Though this 500X draws upon the heritage and history of Fiat's 500 model line, it doesn't depend on it in the way that previous spin-off models have done. Even if you had no idea what the original 500 was, you might well enjoy this car. It looks good, it's easy to drive, is nicely equipped, and is anything but boring. And in this revised form, it can at last offer some decently class-competitive petrol engines that deliver reasonably efficient running costs too. Of course, these attributes are hardly unique in the Juke and Capture-dominated small SUV sector. What is unusual in this segment is to have combined these virtues with an authentic sense of retro style that comes with a modern twist, like Fiat's 500 city car, but unlike the brand's 500L MPV, this model's greatest selling point lies in the way it looks. In short, this remains a contender you can't ignore if you're charmed by the Juke-genre. It has the X factor, and for that, continues to deserve a prominent place on your shortlist of small SUVs.